right, cool. And now we go back to cinema. We're going to talk about The Substance. The Substance. This is a film starring Demi Moore, and it is directed by a French director called Coralie Fiergat, or I think it is. I've never heard it pronounced out loud. And yes. So this is a bit art housey, and this is the film that I said that when I went to watch it, because I'm the first one out of all of us to have watched it, and I said that Holly, I think, will like the overall message of the film. No, she might not like some scenes. Sharon, I would not recommend this film for you. I would honestly not recommend this film for you. I mean, you might surprise me, but on the balance of probabilities, I would not recommend this film for you. And Sean, I said, I don't know if this film is mad enough for Sean to love or silly enough for Sean to hate.
I'll make a point of trying to see it.
I really don't know. But the whole idea behind this film is that the film kicks off, right? And one of the first things you see a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame being constructed. And this star is being constructed, and it's for someone called Elizabeth Sparkle. So you see them putting all the things, they put the star in, you see them pour the tar in, they put the name down, and they brush it, and it's nice and shiny. You see a bit where, and it's all done from, a top down. So you're looking directly down at the star. And then you have this sort of, you remember, Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets? Where at the beginning, where you have this whole thing of the times they are changing. There's a scene like that where you're just looking down at this star, and you can see where well, you're the wonderful people. Like how people come to Hollywood and they want to take a picture with a star. Everything goes on, and then over time you start seeing people just start walking over it. There's leaves on it, nobody bothers cleaning it up. Someone is eating a kebab and drops it on it and doesn't even bother cleaning it, and then the star itself cracks. So you get the idea that this person was once the talk of the town and is now essentially growing old. So, and then you meet Demi Moore, who is Elizabeth Sparkle, and she is essentially think Jane Fonda in the 80s. She does something like that, okay, everybody, we're going to do now, get our knees up, well, let's go, all that kind of stuff. And when you meet her, it's her 50th birthday. And she needs to go, then there's a scene where she needs to go to the loo. She ends up going to the men's loo because the women's loo was broken. And then Dennis Quaid pops in. And Sean, you will like Dennis Quaid in this film because he is grotesque.
Oh, right.
Dennis Quaid is grotesque. He's like the way he's filmed. Every single time he shows up on the screen, it's just like he looks like somebody. I mean, the fact that he's a TV executive. His name is Harvey. He just exudes the air of somebody that has a sex scandal, in a closet somewhere. You just know this guy has a sex scandal just somewhere waiting to come out. And so she overhears him when he's on the toilet. So the first time you actually see him, it's a close up of his face while he's peeing, and he's talking about the fact that she's 50. I don't care if she's still, get her out of here. She's old. She's old news. And so she gets binned because she's 50. And I think this is at the beginning of the film, the film seems to sort of it wants to point out almost setting out its manifesto, because this is Demi Moore. The first show of the film, when you see her, I'm still thinking, damn, that woman looks good. That's Demi Moore looks good, but she's 50, she's out. And so she gets kicked out, and through reasons, somebody ends up talking to her about this thing called The Substance. And it's something that the whole advertising of The Substance is, do you want a new you, have a younger you, relieve your youth, that kind of thing. So she gets this thing, injects it, and in a very kind of David Cronenberg / The Thing, the Thing kind of saying, essentially her back splits open and a younger self pops out. played by Margaret Qualley. And they have all these rules, you must you now have two bodies, but it's still you, and you must have 7 days in one body, 7 days in the next body. And it's a bit like Gremlins, don't feed them after midnight or else. And it's 7 days in one body, 7 days in don't mess with these rules or else. And so you have, and there's this, the film has this whole thing where they seem to share memories up until the point where she injects herself, then they become two separate people. Right. And when this younger person comes out, the first thing she does is go back to the TV station and get her old job back. But now when they get the old job back, it's no longer like Jane Fonda. It is like this new dance video that they're doing is pretty much softcore. It's
wow. Yeah.
yeah, honestly, there's some scenes in it I'm going, whoa, oh, good God, sheesh, this is like an anatomy lesson. And so what goes on is like, she goes gets the whole job back, and then it goes on, and you find the whole thing about the old person, the younger person, what happens when they start fighting with each other, and how things go wrong when those rules get contravened. And this is a film where obviously with the you can look at it, it will immediately get brushed with a satire, or tarred with a satire brush. And people will be like, okay, this is a satire talking about the way, about Hollywood and the way we like beauty standards and unrealistic things and what we do to women and all that. And I don't actually think it's a satire. I don't think it works as a satire. I think it's because it doesn't, there's things about it, the philosophical, like for instance, the fact that this woman, essentially, I think it works more as a character study of what the system has done to one woman. In that she has been in this thing for so long that when she gets fired, she pretty much doesn't leave her house. She doesn't leave her house because she doesn't know what she's going to do with herself, because her entire identity has been taken from this thing. When she gets a new lease of life, okay, for instance, if as she got a new lease of life, she was younger and everything like that, she now went back in there and went, okay, I'm going to use the fact that they worship beauty, and I'm going to use it to sort of like mess up Dennis Quaid, and I'm going to take his job, or this is just like, a first base rubbish script that I'm writing in my head right now. Sure. I'm going to take his job. Then I think that would be more of a satire. But she just.
So how many stars would you give it then, Toast?
Yeah, I know, Sean. I know I've been talking a while, but I got stuff to say.
Okay.
So yeah, the thing is, I would give this a 3. I would give it a 3 out of, because I think it works quite well. There are some bits that are straight out of David Cronenberg, man. There's some bits that are straight out of like The Fly, and stuff. And you can see that the director has been inspired by that. But I would give it a 3 because I think it's good. I like some of the things it says, but I don't really think it holds together as satire. It holds together a lot more as a body horror and as a character study of what one woman who has been in a system for so long that. What being in the system for so long has done to her, but
that's a body horror. So
it's definitely a body horror. It's definitely a body horror, and I think it's quite shallow. Quite frankly, I don't think it's as deep as it thinks it is, or as people might have wanted it to be. So 3 stars for The Substance, but I would still recommend you see it, Sean. Sharon. Yeah. I can't recommend it. I'm sorry.
I try and catch up with it. Give you my rundown.
Yeah, no, I mean, Sean, you go watch it, and then you tell me if you think Sharon would like it, because I don't think she would. All right, cool.